Hey there, here's the final summary after connecting the OM611 engine with the 7g-tronic transmission, which is the transmission from the W211. How does it look in practice? Of course, the flange is one thing, I've discussed that before, the flywheel, another thing, the converters, another thing. I've covered all that in my previous videos. But what else is worth mentioning? If you want to install the newer type flywheel from the OM646 onto the OM611 and also install the newer type converter, then of course besides the flywheel itself, you also have to replace the starter. And why? The flywheel has a slightly larger diameter. The ring gear fits onto the Bendix because the starter that comes with the OM611 has a larger diameter Bendix, which causes a collision with the teeth of the flywheel. To avoid this, you can of course replace the starter with one from the OM646. There the Bendix has a much smaller diameter and there will definitely be no collision. Secondly, the original crankshaft position sensor from the 611, in order to fit it to this gear, needs to be spaced about 3 millimeters due to the fact that the ring gear is larger in diameter. Of course, there is probably a sensor from the 646 because since the block is the same, really between the engines, the sensor will definitely be a bit shorter, but I didn't buy it. As you know, this is for testing and so on, so I didn't want to incur additional costs, just like I didn't want to incur extra costs related to purchasing a second starter motor because I had 3 starter motors, so I used what I had. As a last resort, I installed an old type flywheel at my place, the one that was originally used with the 611 engine, along with an old type converter like the one found, for example, in the W210, W203, W211 with those engines, and it can be connected without any problem. The only thing that still needs to be done is to slightly grind the area for the starter in the bell housing so that the starter fits. Of course, the starter must have threaded holes drilled with a 10mm drill, and then the starter is bolted from the starter side, not from the transmission side. Here everything is already connected, so this is what it looks like in practice, and I think the topic is covered. It can be connected in 2 ways, but you need to take into account that the starter is changed, the sensor is changed, the flywheel is changed, and there are 2 different converters. You just have to check the sets and it has to work.